We're back from the last part where we used the examples and implemented all the examples we wanted. So we have examples, and benchmarking the other branch. So what we're gonna do now, since we merge everything, is return to master. I'm not sure I have a default pool. No, I don't. Alright, so we pulled everything and we now have all the stuff from the examples branch and benchmark branch merged. So we don't need branch D. This should work. Example CI. Yes. And benchmarks. Okay, perfect. So we deleted the other branches. We have branch. Okay, the only things we have is now the different parts. We are gonna add a branch now. So that was part 7. So if some of you know it, what I should be using instead of branches like this is tags to tag specific commits as some things we finished after a given part. But for now, I started with branches, so I guess it's a bit too late. We could do it a bit later. So the thing I wanted to do in this video is add documentation. So we're first gonna add a branch docs. And then we will add some docs to our project using the Documenter tool. So Documenter.jl is the reference package to create documentation for standard Julia packages. If you need something more exotic, there are other things in the Julia Docs organization, but I think for now Documenter will do the job we want. So what is documentation? If you've noticed, when we are in our project, we can use question mark and get we can get the proper documentation, so the doc string for a given thing. So hashtag kv is a dict-like behavior, stores key value pairs by key hash. Okay. So you can get it for anything, including the base functions like length and so on. And so what we want to do is have a dedicated page so that people don't have to load a package to get the documentation, because it's fairly convenient to have in the REPL like this, but sometimes you want to have the documentation available. So if we check, for example, distributions, which is a fairly big package, it's fairly convenient to be able to browse the documentation like this without having to download or set up a project or anything. So I can just click there, see what are the functions exported, what are some key concepts from the package, and so on. And you get the different versions also. So what we want is exactly this. So I'll be widely copying for now what I have here, or maybe not. So yeah, just like benchmarks, maybe what we'll do is add, so just like we did for benchmark, we're gonna add a new folder which is gonna be docs. So for now I'm just gonna generate docs, and docs has a project itself and also src, which I think we will keep for this time. Okay. See docs. So here, micro project docs, all good here. And what we're gonna do is cd docs. So we are in the doc project, and we are gonna add Documenter to generate our documentation. And we will also add home, hashtags. We'll add the hashtag project itself. We could do that, or as Documenter mentions, you can also use the load path trick. So add something to your load path, which is a global variable you have in Julia. Okay, so here you have a structure. So the same thing we're following. So example is a package you're documenting with its source and docs. And docs itself has src and make.jl, which is at the top level. So what does... Okay, so we have everything we need for now, I think. Building an empty document. So this is a base for the make.jl, so we're just gonna follow that. This should have been modified. Yes, we now have Documentarian hashtagged. Like before, maybe we'll add compat equals 1 and documenter equal, what's the current documenter? Stable. You don't get a... Let's see what's the latest documenter release. 0.24. 24. Okay. So we added some compat bound. Let's just check that it corresponds to what we have. Yes, 24 and hashtag. So we now need a micro make.jl, and we need to copy using documenter and our package, and so hash dates make the site name is hash dates documentation. Nothing very original here. Okay. And now add an index.md to the src. I guess we could just leave it empty for now. So rm micro src and so index.md. Like the base.dict. So let's be honest about our documentation here. Like, so it's like base.dict, but as we saw in the last video, but slower. I think that should make it fairly attractive for people to use. Yeah, that's it for now. So GDP include make. So we'll see what documenter says here. So what it will do is build. Okay, that seems good. What it does is build build a build folder. Yeah, I'm gonna make it, and add all the things you need to have a a complete web page on it. So what we want now is open Firefox index build index. Okay, it works. So we now have let's say a website. It might be a bit ambitious to say we don't have this. Oh no, because we don't. Are we on master? No, we're not on master. Okay, all fine. Okay, so everything is there. We'll just follow the documenter. Yeah, we can also have a make be prettier. So the docs folder should contain a new build directory. That's the case. A fairly important thing, we need to ignore this build folder. Docs/build.jl /build. We don't want that added to the commits. Okay. store. So we're gonna add everything for here. No, make and project for now. Added a documenter structure. And for now, so we have to make something a bit more interesting. Pretty old. So this is to modify the defaults for now. For now, we should be fine with not touching any of these. Adding some doc strings. Okay, so we have some doc string for it. Yes, that's what we want. So what we want is the documentation. I guess we just need one page here to describe the different functions we have. So we add this in the index here. Like best dig the slower. This package defines a single abstract dig type, which relies on hashing the key and relies on, I'm not even sure we need that, relies on key hashing and equality comparison. Okay, so docs. So here you add any of the things you want to document. So in our case, it's not hashdict, which is the package, but hashdict. So we want to add the documentation for this, and the only. So yeah, that's going to be already a fair point. Let's see what it does. So this is going to rerun everything, and now we have yes. Okay. So this is in local here. We're not on GitHub yet. Oh yeah, we have a dark mode. Yes, wonderful. Okay. So this is the hashdict block. So it says that it's a type, and we have the documentation below. Wonderful. The other things we have now are a bit more tricky because we mostly implement some functions for our hashdict type, but as it said on Documenter, so let's check. I guess it's going to be better with an example. Let's check some of our definitions. Set index. If we no, this doesn't have replace for delete. Okay, we did not document that many things. Resize, okay, perfect. Resize is a base function, so if we add this to the documentation, src index, so let's say we want to document the behavior for resize, so like this, and so we rerun the documentation, we check what it looks like, and then we get base resize the function, but then we have all the possible doc strings for resize, and we don't want that. What we want is to just, so this is the generic one, and then we added some new documentation specifically for resize with hashdict. So what we want instead is the specific documentation for base resize with our signature, and our signature is exactly this, so we just need to copy like that. So that's the first one we have, and then we also had resize with capacity, and we also want that. So in that case, we're not going to have the generic documentation for resize, we're just going to have the documentation for our resize method on the hashdict types. So let's rerun. Oops. K not defined. Huh. Oh yeah, I did not copy the whole thing. Yes, exactly. Okay, now let's rerun this. This works fairly fast, even better. And now, so we have the documentation for hashtag, okay, and then we have resize just for our package. So resize hashtag and resize hashtag capacity. That's exactly what we wanted. So this is perfect. And then the problem we have is we have all the things that are not documented exactly. So we should probably document. So we should have maybe a section on resizing and managing capacity, and then we should have maybe a section on the rest of it, which is fairly mundane, so we're not gonna do it. But yeah, you can have, let's say, the big picture API here, which is just we have this wonderful new type, and then the intrinsic below, like developer documentation, let's say. So for example, we could add a docs for the hashtags dot load factor. So since we did not export a load factor, we need to use it to qualify it completely with package name hashtags dot load factor. Okay. No, sorry. This works. Resizing and managing. So we have a base section, the first section here, and then the small section saying resizing capacity. Okay. So we have some fairly decent doc now. The thing we want to do is add it to a GitHub page. So that's fairly practical, just like they did for Documenter. Hosting documentation. Overview. Yes. That's the thing we wanted. Have to skip. Okay, so this is, I think, the thing we commented from our. So from here we'll just close this. Go back to the top level of a package. Go to Travis, and I think we commented everything. Yes. So we'll just uncomment that and have a new stage called documentation with 1.0. We don't want that. That was copied directly from. Distributions. Okay, and yeah, okay. So what we want now is deploying documenter tools.genkeys program which get and message chain. So we're trying to find how to deploy this to GitHub pages. I didn't think this required that many steps, so maybe we just go to the GitHub branch. Documentation versions. Okay. Deploy. Okay. Okay, we'll just add this. I think this should be enough, maybe. So that's not in Travis anymore, that's in the docs make. So we make the docs with this thing here, and then this is our since I'm a bit lazy, I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, it's a, yeah, we need the .git. Okay. Yeah, we already ignored this, so that's fine. So I think you need SSH and all this stuff if you. Oh no, I want. Yeah, maybe with Travis. I'm not sure if Travis is allowed to push to the GitHub pages directly. Maybe we need to allow something. Insertion of the doc building, install your package, and run the docs make jail. Okay. Okay, so I'll guess I'll be using Documented Tools, Genkey. Okay, yeah, we need to add environment variable to Travis. So I might have to block the video at some point, just when the keys are getting showed. Because this is, you're not supposed to commit them or show them anywhere. This is environment variables which are supposed to keep to remain secret. And I think this will be, I'm not even sure we want to do it. Yeah. Make sure that the key is hidden, so don't show it, don't commit it, and so on. Yeah, I'm not even sure it's worth it to show that part. Okay, yeah, why not? We'll just do the beginning at least. So I'm gonna add Documentarian not here, but in my global environment. Mentor tools. Gen keys with this. Do I need to use this using? I'm not even sure. Oh, SAS. Oh, yeah, I think this is CSS. A CSS like language, I'm not even sure. Huh. This might be, yeah, a bit long, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this SAS package is. SAS.jl. Oh, yeah. Nice, so it's a CSS compiler. I understand. Does it have heavy dependencies? Yeah, it does have. No, it doesn't have a build or anything. Huh, interesting. What are his dependencies? SAS. Binary provider, so it does depend on some binary things. That's why. Okay, cool, we have it finally. Documenter. And then what we wanted is documented tools, gen keys, so come so and hashtags. So I added documenter key, and this should be it. full of instructions are printed out. Okay, I'm not using GitHub Actions. At some point I think I should at least try to know what it's about. Anyway, I'm just gonna work remotely. Meaning I'm not gonna push documentation from from my own local computer to GitHub. I'm just gonna let Travis do the job. So let's quit that, and so let's see what we have. Git status, git add docs src, or just docs add Travis, documentation, deployment, yeah, docs. So documentation is only gonna push to the documenter is only gonna push to the website, to the GitHub page when we're on master. So if we have a pull request, this is not gonna trigger the documentation. It's just gonna do it later on master. So I guess we'll either pause or accelerate the video while the documentation is being created. Sorry. So I think this should be fine. Yeah, let's not even wait on it. And now we are gonna wait a bit because Travis is gonna take some time, and at the end we should get some documentation on mattbesançon.github.io/hashtags.gl latest. Alright. After debugging Travis for a while, for a few commits, we end up with this. So I removed the matrix, which is redundant with the job statement in the YAML configuration of Travis. So it means it's only using this to determine which versions, so nightly, blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah, so it took a bit of messing around with the configuration, and how you can see that it fails is in a build like this. You view config and then you get it if you have an error, so it's going to detail exactly how it interpreted your configuration. So the result is, most importantly, that we now have hashtag dev, so this URL, so this is my github.github.io, and then the package name, and dev for the master branch, and stable for the latest release you did. So we didn't do any release, so if we do stable, I guess there's nothing. Yes, so I thought. And dev is master, and we now see this online, so people can access the documentation. So we can add a badge to the readme if we want, but that's mostly it.